What's going on, about Arcade here, and it's that time of the year again. We talk about our favorite games of 2016. 2016 is just about over, so keep in mind that my list is just that. It's my list. It's my opinion of games that I've actually played throughout the year. I don't include games I didn't experience, so just the games that I myself have played. So here's my top 10 games of 2016. Enjoy. Titanfall 2 is a pretty good game. Just like the first one, it has one of the best and one of the most smooth movement systems in all of the FPS genre. However, much like the first game, Titanfall 2 is kind of empty and gets boring rather fast. Though they did include a story campaign, which is pretty good, I still feel like there's a lot that Titanfall is missing in that just content-wise and gameplay-wise, Titanfall kind of lacks compared to the other shooters that released in 2016. FIFA 17 is, in my opinion, the best sports game of 2016. It's the first of EA Sports titles to use the Frostbite engine, and that does is makes the game just a bit more better graphically and perform better mechanically. However, where it fails is the journey. The journey is FIFA's attempt at a story mode for soccer game itself. Though I like the journey as a whole, since it's not my own created character, I don't really have much interest in Alex Hunter. I feel like he himself is kind of an empty character, and I can't get engaged in the character because it's not a character that I've created. Aside of that, FIFA 17 is just as good as past FIFA games. In my opinion, the FIFA games are constantly up there and better than most, if not all, sport games each year. At number 8 on my list is The Division. It's easy to forget The Division released this year. It was hyped up to be a great game. It was hyped to be one of the best games of the year, but didn't get received as well as Ubisoft hoped it would by the fan base. Me personally, I enjoyed The Division and still play it to this day, but what held it back was its empty story missions, bullet sponge enemies, and unbalanced PvP. And as usual, Ubisoft failed to keep up to promises made in the gameplay shown at past E3 events. I think that held Division back a lot. If they didn't have like the little what they had at E3s for the past couple years before Division release, I think it would be received way better. But since they, had, as usual with Ubisoft, they have their E3 events, they show gameplay, and it looks one way. Then the actual game comes out, and there's things missing that's not there that was shown in those gameplays. And I think that just keeps people from actually wanting to play Ubisoft games, not just Division itself, but all Ubisoft games. Battlefield 1 is a good game. Battlefield 1 is an extremely stunning game. Battlefield 1 has a good campaign. Battlefield 1 is empty. As beautiful as this game is, as fun as it is to play with friends, it's the most empty Battlefield game to date. There isn't that many guns in the game, and the majority of the guns that it does have, it's just different variations of the same exact guns. There is no real weapon customization to this game. That alone kept it from being higher on this list, but the gameplay itself is why it is above the previous games. Battlefield 1 like I said, it's a very beautiful game, and the gameplay is great. But when you have a shooter in 2016 and you can't customize your weapons, like adding attachments, then you kind of just lose interest because you're using the exact same guns, and the different guns you have this is the exact same gun from before, but this one now has a scope on it. That's not content. That's not a new weapon. It's just the same gun. It's like playing a fighting game and the other fighters that you have are the exact same character, but just transformations of that character. Think like the Dragon Ball Z games where you have Goku separated from Super Saiyan 4 Goku. It's not another character, it's just the same character, just a different variation of that character. Quantum Break was an interesting game. It was a good game and a good TV show. I was shocked at how good both not only were, but how good they worked together. We've seen Trion Worlds attempt to have video games follow a TV show with Defiance, but that didn't work out well. As Defiance, the TV show was good, the game was completely awful and really didn't have any tie-ins to the actual TV show. With Quantum Break, it works flawlessly. Frankly, this game will be higher on the list if the story was a little bit longer. The game's biggest flaw is its story not being long enough, because it's a really good game. The voice acting is top tier, the graphics are amazing, but having a story that's this short holds it back, not just for me, but probably for a lot of people that played the game. I think it would have been better received had the campaign been longer, because it's a very good campaign. It's just really short, especially when it's a single player game. You don't want a single player game being 4 or 5 hours, regardless of there being a TV show attached to it. You need to have a longer game for that when the main aspect of the video game is story. Coming in at number 5 might not be this high for most YouTubers, but for me, Gears of War 4 was a good game. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think it's grossly an underrated game. It's being very overlooked, and I don't see why. The campaign was great on all fronts. Story, lore, soundtrack, voice acting, new characters, they're great. The biggest flaw for me with this game is just how inconsistent multiplayer is. But even then, the multiplayer is still hella fun. But as always, when it comes to any kind of shooter, there's balancing issues and there's inconsistencies, and that might be what hold people back playing Gears of War. But me personally, I think the story itself, as well as just having a fun multiplayer, is why this game is number 5 for me. Why it's the best shooter of 2016. At number 4 on my list is Naruto, also Ninja Storm 4. This is my first time playing Ninja Storm game. The only previous Naruto games I ever played were Broken Bond and Rise of Ninja. So with my first experience with the Ninja Storm series, I really enjoyed the game. I'm not very good at it. I'd say I'm pretty average, but I haven't had this much fun playing a fighting game in so long. Doing all the moves from one of my favorite animes, the team combos, the arena you battle in, the story itself was really good. It was a great game. I really enjoyed Naruto, also Ninja Storm 4. Final Fantasy 15 is a great game. To some, it's the best game to release this year, though I don't believe it's better than the next 2 games on this list. If those other games didn't release, then yes, it would be the best game of this year. But those other 2 games did come out this year, and Final Fantasy 15 is only number 3 for me. The game has an epic enemy encounters, stunning graphics, and it's just all around a very good RPG. And I will do my own little review of it at a later date. I don't want to get as much time as possible into the game. So when I get all that done, I'll do a review of Final Fantasy 15 and give you guys my in-depth thoughts on it in that format.
Hell no, to the no, no, no. Hell to the no, hell to the no, to the no, 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 no.
At number 2 on my list is Dark Souls 3. I love Dark Souls 3. It's my favorite Soulsborne game. Now, I will say my opinion is strictly from a single player standpoint, as I do not take part in the multiplayer aspect, PvE aspect of Dark Souls games. Though some of the boss fights were fairly easy, I enjoyed every single one of them, with the Nameless King and Sister of Londori Elfrida being my most favorite bosses from the game. The game's amazing. I don't really care what everyone else says about Dark Souls 3, because I think most people are generally in that aspect of where either you love Dark Souls 2 or you hate it, you love Dark Souls 1, you hate it, you love Dark Souls 3 or you hate it. There's no really in betweens with the Dark Souls community, and for me, I love Dark Souls 3. I do like Dark Souls 1 and 2, but to me, this is better than that. In this one of the best games to release this year. But aside from just the boss fights alone, I love the areas we explore, the beauty of Londo and the Boreal Valley. It is the awesomeness of the entire Lothric area. It was all just an amazing experience to me, and the more and more I played Dark Souls 3, the more and more I loved the game. Last but certainly not least, my game of the year, the number 1 game 2016 in my opinion, The Witcher 3's expansion, Blood and Wine. Witcher 3 was most people's game of the year last year, including mine. It's the only game I ever give a 10 out of 10 in my reviews, so did the expansion this year continue what made the base game amazing? Blood and Wine is an astonishing work of art. There was nothing that released this year that compares to it in my opinion. Even if you can say, well, it's an expansion, it shouldn't count, either way, it's the best thing to come out this year, in my opinion. It captured everything that made the base game what it was, and added even more amazing dialogue choices, a new beautiful area to explore. The boss fight with Dettlaff was difficult but fun, and the consequences for not doing things a certain way makes even BioWare games like a joke. And no spoilers, but again, I'll say it. When it comes to Witcher games, if you don't do things a certain way, there's no holding your hand. There's no clear path to this is how you do it. There's going to be consequences if you don't do things, if you aren't using your brain and acknowledging everything that you can do in the entire game to get to a certain point. Anyways, guys, that's my list for 2016. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Matter of fact, in the comment section below, leave your top 10 games of 2016 or just your favorite game of 2016. Just be one game, could be 2 games, whatever games that you guys enjoyed throughout this year. Let me know what those games are. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you all for watching. Please have a good holiday week.